Welcome back. This is Viewpoint with me, Griha. Let's move to a big story that's coming out of Karnataka, where a Jain monk, Acharya Sri Kamakumara Nandi Maharaj of Chikkodi, has been missing for a few days. He had been missing when he was in fact found murdered on Saturday. His body was chopped into pieces and dumped in a defunct borewell in Belagavi's Raibagh Taluk. Two individuals have been arrested in the case. One is Narayan Mali, who had been living with the monk in the ashram, and the other one is Hassan Dayalat. In fact, an FIR has been registered in this case, and yesterday, multiple protests had taken place in several districts, including, but not limited to, Bagalkot, Hassan, Belagavi, Koppal and Dharwar. Protests continue even today, and our State Home Minister, G. Parameshwara, has also met with the members of the Jain community. They had, remember, sought the state protection after the murder of the Digambar Jain. The BJP is, however, sending two teams of leaders to Belagavi and Mysuru. They claim that there is a larger conspiracy to this entire murder. There is more to it than meets the eye, and they are now demanding a CBI investigation in this case.
Community is with the government. They know that there has been no malicious intent of the government, and this seems to be a personal feud rather than a communal. Because BJP has no issue to take up, they want to take this up on communal lines.
तो मैं इसलिए आग्रह किया हूं कि ये प्रदेश की पुलिसों से इसका जो तहकीकात न्याय नहीं मिलेगा, इसलिए सीबीआई सरकार को देना है.
Let me open this up to my panel this evening. Mohan Krishna of the BJP, Nivedit Alva of the Congress, and Mr. A.K. Jain, who's a former IPS, is joining us on the broadcast. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation, and a very good evening to all of you. I'd begin with Mr. A.K. Jain. Mr. Jain, the murder that has been that's come to light out of Belagavi in Karnataka, of course, that actually sparked a series of protests from members of the Jain community. However, the other aspect was that the Jain community came out in the open and they said that they were ready to forgive the killers, and then they stopped the protest because they were satisfied with the investigation. Now the BJP is claiming that there is a conspiracy theory. There was more to it than just financial dealings gone wrong. How do you choose to respond to all of these allegations that are being made in the wake of the murder?
There is no question of forgiving the perpetrators of such a heinous crime, gruesome crime. Naturally, Jain monk, one or two Jain monks have said that they should be forgiven and they should reform themselves. Naturally, state government and the police cannot forgive such a gruesome murder. They will take drastic action against these people, and it should be taken because it has sent very wrong signal throughout the country. Because Jains, by and large, are a very peaceful community, and they have no possessions. So there should be inquiry into this allegation of financial deals also. And one should not forget that one of the perpetrators of the crime is a Muslim. He chopped off the hands, he chopped off the legs, he chopped the head. So why such a gruesome murder was committed? Why in such a brutal fashion? That should be investigated, and who all are behind it, and is this theory correct?
Mr. Jain, when you talk about the perpetrators of the crime, one of the persons who's also been apprehended and arrested is also going by the name Narayan Mali. He's not a Muslim, so why just comment on one particular perpetrator and leave aside the other and give it a communal color?
No, but the chopping was done by this person only. Hassan Dalat.
The charge sheet is not out, sir. How do you know about this?
No, I have read about it. I have talked to several people. There have been processions. There have been protests. And
like, who are these people? I want to understand because we would not want to put any facts which are incorrect on the broadcast, sir.
No. I am not saying anything which is incorrect. I have been DGP of UP. So I will never say such a thing. But there is a general feeling after the change of government, and this should not be there, that anti-Hindu government has come. So this type of feeling, if it goes to the criminals and bad elements, they will start committing crimes.
Okay.
I have been reading about the statements of ministers even before the formation of the government that anti-cow slaughter law will be repealed, anti-conversion
No,
law
that'll
will be
digress the
repealed.
debate. That'll digress the debate. Oh, let's actually stick to the Jain Monk's murder. Nivedit
Yeah.
Alva, this point that Mr. Jain is making, that there is one perpetrator who happens to be coming from the Muslim religion and he's involved and he's the one who was responsible in chopping the body. I really don't know where the information is coming from, but I'd like the argument that the Congress party is going to be making vis-a-vis these arguments that are also akin with the arguments that the BJP is making, by the way. I want to understand that G. Parameshwara met with the stakeholders and members of the community who were earlier wanting to fast until death over this murder, this killing. But later, they were satisfied with the way the investigation has been progressing. How do you think that narrative is really starting to change?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
To start with, I'd like to go on record in saying that this is an absolutely a gruesome murder, and there is no two ways about it that we have to get to the bottom of this. There have been statements made about the investigation on the floor of the Assembly by the Honorable Chief Minister and the Home Minister. The Home Minister even visited the spot yesterday and met with all the concerned aggrieved parties and stakeholders. Apart from that, within a record time, within 6 or 7 hours on the day that it came to light, the perpetrators were found out and arrested, and they have already even so to say, admitted to the crime. The investigation is still ongoing to get to the bottom of various other parts which have been coming in the media, which we have read in the media, such as loans, money, and all that, which I would not like to comment on because I don't know, and that is the path the investigation is taking. Now, in such a heinous murder and when something like this has happened, I think to start talking about religion and start talking about things itself explains the background of where this is coming from. The fact that all of this, to answer your question, where is this coming from and why is the Assembly being held to ransom, is because the BJP hasn't been able to elect a member of the leader of the opposition yet. And they were being questioned by the government on a daily basis. So this is the way that they've been able to come out with. And I am sorry to be in Karnataka and to be hearing things about law and order in our state from a former DGP of police in UP making such statements as a former IPS officer, talking about religion and stuff like that, which I find is itself, I mean, it's not worth getting into because it explains his mindset and what he's trying to stoke at the same time. Investigation is ongoing. They have already been apprehended. The detailed investigation is ongoing, and in a few days, everything will be out. So how is this different? And the Home Minister himself has visited the site, met all the aggrieved parties, and explained to them what the process of law is and what exactly is going on, which is why they were happy yesterday and they said, yes, this is fine. So what is being done now, separate teams being sent to Mysore, sent to whatever, is basically in a bid to try and stoke some communal tension. They still haven't gotten over the fact of the drubbing they got in the assembly elections a couple of months ago.
Okay, Mohan Krishna, respond to this argument, because clearly when the stakeholders of the committee were satisfied with the way the preliminary investigation was going, the Home Minister of the state has also met with all the members of the community, and he has assured that ample and important appropriate action is going to be taken in this particular case, because nobody is denying the fact that this is a gruesome murder or horrendous crime that's taken place. Why is the BJP still hell-bent on a CBI investigation? I mean, let law take its own course. Why not wait for the preliminary inquiry to complete and the investigation to go ahead and proceed further? Why send delegation after delegation to two particular districts of Karnataka and then demand a CBI investigation as well?
Ruha, very good evening to you. I heard patiently Mr. Nivedita Alva as well as Mr. Jain talking about this issue. First of all, I condemn the issue. Jain community is a 1% minority community in the country. If we are not able to take care of them properly, then you can understand what is the situation now in Karnataka. Let me come back to the point now. Two delegations have gone. to see the murders of Venugopal Nayak at T. Narsipur and one at Chikkodi, Jain Muni, Kamkumar Nandiji ka, Muni ka.
Yes.
Look at the arrogance of the Congress people. If we have not elected or selected any opposition leader, that is our problem. This is not your problem, Mr. Nivedita Alva. Please pertain to the issue and talk about the issue. How did you come to a conclusion that the Jain seers have given go ahead for this investigation and they are happy? How did you come to the conclusion? Who is the Super CM told? Super CM Priyank Kharge told? First of all, the first statement made was not by the Chief Minister or by the Home Minister. It was by Priyank Kharge, the Super Chief Minister. Why is this happening in this Congress government? Coming back to this, the series of incidents are happening in Karnataka. Let me explain. Mr. Nivedita Alba has to give an explanation to the state, and on this channel, he was saying to Mr. Jain that IPS officer has come with the mindset. Have you not come with the mindset, Mr. Nivedita Alba, to blame BJP here? It is a problem. It's a problematic issue in Karnataka. Whenever Congress comes to power under Siddaramaiah, let me put it on record to you, Gruha, today. 23 Hindus were killed under the belt of Siddaramaiah when he was...
No, you are again digressing. What you are accusing the Congress of doing, Mohan Krishna, you're doing the same thing. I am asking you a simple question. As per the preliminary investigation, it has been established that this was a financial dealing that had gone kaput. There was some money that was lent, and on the basis of that, this murder was really committed. Then why give it a religious communal color is the question that I am understanding. And this aspect that you are saying, that where has this entire assent come in from the Jain community? In fact, the Jain seer Gunadhar Nandi Maharaj, who met with the state home minister, was the one who was demanding investigation. He'd also said that he'd be fasting until death, but he's also said because the community believes in non-violence, they would not go ahead and pursue this fast because they were satisfied with the way the investigation is proceeding. So where is the problem?
Let me explain. I was coming to the point in between you intervened me.
Please go ahead, sir.
What I am trying to tell you is, what you are talking is financial deal. It is said simply, they want to wash off this and take this as another murder, another heinous crime which has taken place in the state. Let me tell you, it is shocking to you. He was given shock, current shock, and then made him to murdered them and chopped. After that, he was chopped and put into borewell. Put into borewell in pieces. Can you imagine? And you are, as if nothing has happened, a simple crime has happened, a simple murder has happened.
No, I never said that, sir. I said it's a gruesome murder. It's a horrendous crime, and these are the words that I have mentioned.
Tell me.
In fact, if this is the question that you're raising to the Congress dispensation in the state, let me actually pose that very question to Mr. Alva. Mr. Alva, the crime as gruesome as this has happened in your state. You've just assumed power back in the state of Karnataka, and this happened. One of the members of the minority communities, an important Digambar seer, has been murdered, and what is being accused of by the BJP is the Congress has not managed to curb the crimes that are emanating out of the state of Karnataka. How does the Congress respond to that?
I don't see how this is this debate, has turned into a finger-pointing exercise at the government. This is a crime which has been committed, and the police have investigated and arrested the perpetrators of the crime on the day that it came to light. Right? This is an ongoing investigation. So, as to the honorable BJP spokesperson speaking about who is briefing the press, I don't think we need permission from anyone about which minister gets in every cabinet. Different people, different ministers brief the press from time to time. So there is a certain narrative which they are trying to build up, which I'm afraid is not going to work in this particular case. The perpetrators have been found. They have admitted to what they have, to the crime they committed. It is a gruesome, absolutely gruesome crime committed in the most horrific of ways, and that is what is being investigated. There is no.
But Mr. Alba, we are not talking about the attribution of the crime in this particular case. We are talking about an administration which is there in the state of Karnataka. We had seen the series of protests. We were constantly playing out those visuals, the visuals on the screen, on how the Jain community members were protesting. Of course, they need answers, and they will demand it out of the ruling dispensation in the state, and that's what we are asking you.
So, which is why the Home Minister himself was in Belagavi yesterday and met with all of them and explained the government's point of view, and that the investigation is ongoing and what has happened in the investigation so far. So now we cannot speed up the process of an investigation to keep the opposition party happy. They have to get to the bottom of it, do they not?
Okay.
And if we are confident in what is being done,
Mohan
and
Krishna,
that
I'll give you your time.
have already
Mr.
been
Krishna.
arrested,
Yeah.
it is going on. It is an ongoing investigation.
Mr. Nivedita Alva, don't keep the opposition happy. Keep the state happy with the highest crimes. Yesterday, Venugopal Nayak, 2-3 days before this, Jain Monk, and today you have seen another crime in Bangalore. Another crime in Bangalore. Have you gone through anything of this sort? What is the statement given by the Home Minister of T. Narsipur killing? Who is involved there? We know it. We know it. That is the reason we have sent for the investigation. You are defending the government. Of course, you have to defend the government because heinous crimes will always be done by the Congress government, and they have to defend the. And if it happens to the minorities, they are very happy. Minority has to be taken care. What is according to the Congress government? Who is the minority? Only Muslims are the minority?
Okay, Mohan Krishna, last question to you. Last question, let me intervene here. Last question to you. I want to understand, and I'm repeating this question, that once the Jain community has sort of, for the want of the better word, placated by the ruling dispensation, that's the Congress party in Karnataka, do you think that the BJP, in an attempt to go ahead and mobilize the kind of stir that we'd seen yesterday or after the murder was reported, now that the protests have died down, is that pinching the BJP? That is also an argument against you guys.
Ruha, we are not going to instigate people for any protests or anything for that matter. Jains are such a lovely human beings. They are such a nice people. They have accepted the words of the Home Minister and they have just kept quiet and see the protest there. See the protest there. It is such a non-violent, and you can just see people are so calm. And their anger they are showing through the protest. It is not the pinch of the dying of the protest. It is the pinch of the series of killers. You are talking of one killing. I am talking of another killing. This is if it happens to Jain Muni murder.
Okay, I got your point, Mr. Mohan Krishna. I'm really sorry, I'll have to interrupt you there. We are very short on time on the broadcast, but I'd like to thank Mohan Krishna, Nivedita Alva and Mr. A.K. Jain for joining me on the edition of Viewpoint. And this big story continues from Karnataka. We'd have to see which way the investigation really heads.